Hello my dear doers, welcome back to my next episode of my old tutorial. Today, we are going to try point of sale. I know a lot of you have requested this. Actually, this is my first time to try point of sale, so I hope you like it and learn something from this. Just to note guys, this is not a beginner tutorial, and I hope you already have a basic knowledge of JS classes, QWeb templates, and Odoo controllers. So at the end of this tutorial, we will achieve this new look of POS. As you can see, we changed the logo, we changed the background color, and not only that, I interchanged the location of the product list and the order list and buttons. Let's compare it to the original layout. The color and positions are now different. At this point, we are able to create our own theme using only CSS and XML template inheritance. Then we move to the JavaScript part, wherein we will inherit the product screen by adding a new products below it. These products are favorite products, which can be mandatory products or commonly both products. So instead of searching, you can easily click it and it works the same way in the normal product list. Then let's go to the payment screen, and as you can see, I added a new button, and if I click, for now, it's only a console log. It's up to you guys what functionality you want to add. Maybe you can call something on the backend. And then, we will inherit existing methods. For example, if I will click each payment method, I am able to make a console log without breaking the process. Basically, this will apply to any methods in each component of POS. So just like that, we are able to inherit the design and functionalities of Odoo POS. So are you ready? Let's do it! But before we do the coding, let's first see the POS code structure so that we know what's going on, right? Under Community, open Add-ons, and open Point of Sale folder. And in my case, I use Visual Studio Code just to open the files easily. This tutorial is all about all framework, so we are interested in the static and SRC folder. The folder structure has been separated. All the JavaScript files, SCSS, and XML files are in their own respective folders. Unlike in web client, components has been stored in the same folder, wherein the SCSS, XML, and JavaScript are all in the same folder. Let's open the JS folder. And yes, I know it's confusing, but I will try my best to explain one at a time. Maybe some of you already know this, but for the sake of others who doesn't know yet. The first file that I will open will be the chrome.js, which is the root component of Point of Sale app. Notice that it is still using the old module code in defining a new module using odoo.define. But it's also using ES6 syntax, which means it's a combination of old and new code, which is using OWL. As you can see on how they import these methods from OWL, which is now better to understand. Same like web client, it's also a component-based system by extending POS component module. Maybe you're asking why don't use component from OWL, right? It's because, as I have said, it's still a mix of all the new code. So if we open this POS component module, as you can see, it's still using a legacy component. An example here is the trigger method. So if we are using old component, we don't need to use this trigger method. We can just simply define a method and add an event listener calling this method. Let's have a quick look and open this legacy component. We can see that it's using OWL, but there's a note here that this should not be used because this is used only to legacy component. So in the future, they will convert all of this using OWL component without using legacy codes. But don't worry, since this tutorial will apply starting from version 14 to 16. And the next will be class registry. So in POS, it has its own registry system, and this will guide us how we can add and inherit different components. But in this tutorial, we will be focusing only in extending components. The add by extending method is like what the method name says. You will add a new component based on the component you want to inherit. So all of the POS components are being added using this registry, like the Chrome component. If we scroll at the bottom, we have registries.component.add, but maybe you're wondering why there is a component. If we open registries module, it's actually returning a component that creates a new instance of component registry. And if we open component registry, it's a class that extends class registry. So all of these methods now in class registry will be added to component registry. In a nutshell, we use registry module and access its component key, wherein this component key has all the properties in class registry to add, extend, or add by extending. The difference in web clients is that it uses category to store these components like registry.category. Next is the model.js module, wherein all the methods in getting and saving data into the database is located. It uses RPC service to call and execute functions from the backend. So if I will search services, you will notice that it uses only RPC service. We need to pass an object as a parameter and the name of the method you want to call inside that model. But you can also use a path. For example, we create a new controller, then add a route instead of a model. So we have this load server data, which will get all the data we need from POS.session model, and all of the data will then be processed using process data method and will be stored into different variables that can be easily retrieved like this.company, countries, etc. Then all of the products and categories will be stored in this.db, which is point of sale DB module, under the file db.js. There are different variables that we can call if we want to retrieve product and category informations. I think they use this to minimize RPC call to the server, and so that even if the internet got disconnected, you can still proceed selling products. Okay, so for now, these are the basic files we need to know. We have the Chrome, which is the parent component, registries to add and inherit components, models to retrieve and process data from the backend, and DB module to store product and category information. Now let's see the structure of POS in XML file. Under Chrome.js, if we scroll down at the bottom, we will see the template has been defined as Chrome. So let's go under XML folder and open Chrome.xml. We have main div with class POS, the header with class POS top header, the content with class POS content, and other elements like transitions, pop-ups, and notifications. For now, let's focus on the header and the content. Let's check the browser, but before that, let's make sure we have installed POS. In my case, I haven't installed yet, so let's proceed installing it. Then let's inspect. We have the main class POS, POS top header, and POS content, which is the same in our XML file. For example, the header, we have the logo, cash, and ticket button. And on the right side, we have the cashier name, sync notification, and header button. Notice on the template, the element that will be rendered is based on the main screen variable. This main screen variable holds a component and the name of the component. If we go back to the browser, we see that an element with class of product screen has been rendered. Going back to Chrome component, under start function, the show start screen has been called, and then getting the name and props under start screen, which is a getter method that will return the name of the component, which is product screen, but only if the UI state is ready. Then finally, calling this .showScreen method to show the component in the UI. And this showScreen is coming from POS component, which will trigger showMainScreen, which has been initiated in Chrome component using this hook useListener, which means if showMainScreen has been triggered, you need to execute this callback function, this .showScreen. So I hope we understand it, because even me at the start, I didn't understand it. If you have a better explanation, just leave your comment below, guys. So basically, we initiate an event listener using this hook, useListener, and the name of the event. And then the way you will call it is using this trigger function, which will work the same way in XML or templates. Like in Chrome templates, they use toggle debug widget to show and hide the debug window if you click the logo. Just make sure you are in debug mode by hitting Command+K in Mac or Ctrl+K for Windows, then type debug and hit enter. Now let's try to search toggle debug widget in Chrome component. And yeah, it has this callback function. So now I hope you understand now how they define which component will be rendered in the main screen and how useListener and trigger function works. Now let's open screens folder to see what are different screens available. We have the partner, payment, product screen, etc. Let's open product screen since this is the first screen that will be displayed. Let's open product screen component and let's go below to see what's the name of the template, which is product screen. Let's open the template, which is just the same name with the JavaScript file. Inside this template, notice that we have left pane and right pane. Under left pane, we have the order widget and the control buttons. And on the right pane will be the products component. Let's see on the browser. Yes, we have left pane and right pane, and inside that, it's the same what has been added on the template. You can also try from your side other screen like customer and payment screen. So I think we can now proceed in the first task. Let's say we want to change the look and feel of POS. Maybe some of you wants to change the logo or colors or even the layout. Let's change first the logo, and the way we inherit it is by simply inheriting the Chrome template because the logo has been added there. And we can easily know it with this img element having a class of POS logo. You can also inspect it in the browser if you want. Now let's create a new directory under the src folder and name it POS. Then let's create a new file and name it chrome.xml. Let's create a new template, and under Chrome template, let's copy the template and paste. Then instead of name, let's just rename it as inherit. And let's add the inherit mode is equal to extension so that it will alter this parent component directly. If we don't add this, it will create a new template, but we don't want that. Then let's use XPath, and the expression will be / and select img element POS-logo. Position will be attributes, and the attribute name will be src. Then we need to create a new directory, img, under src folder, and inside that, add the logo you want. Then going back, let's add the source, which will be the name of our module, /static src img, and the name of the logo, which in my case is AJScript media logo.png. Then under the manifest file, we need to add the point of sale module in the dependency, and under assets, we need to add a new entry, which is point of sale.assets, because this web.assets backend is for the web client. Then it will be an array, and let's add all static src POS ****.js and duplicate it and do the same to XML and SCSS file so that we don't need to add them again later. Now let's restart the server and then reload the page. Okay, it's working fine, but the logo is small, and to increase the height, let's create a new SCSS file and name it pos.scss. Let's go back to the browser and inspect the logo to get the right class. Let's copy these classes and paste it, and let's try to add height with 80%. Go back and just reload the page. Nice, it's working fine. Now that we know how to override these classes, we can then easily change the background color of the header. Let's inspect again and find out what are the classes of the POS header. So it's POS-top header. Let's copy and paste to our SCSS file, and let's change the background, and in my case, I want a dark green. Let's reload the page, and yeah, it's working fine. We can also change the background of the product list by inspecting and getting the correct classes. Okay, we have it. Let's copy and paste. Then the background, let's make it white. But now the order list, I want to make it dark. So let's do the same. Inspect and then select the correct element. Copy the classes, paste, and then change the background to dark green and color to white. Let's reload. And then this text, let's make it lighter. Let's inspect and select the correct element. Check if it has color styles. Nothing, so let's try the parent UL elements. And yes, there's color style. So let's copy the classes and paste. Let's change the color to lighter color. Okay, let's reload the page. But the quantity is still the same. So let's inspect this and copy the classes. paste, and do the same color. Then let's try again. Alright, we have successfully changed the colors of our POS. Now let's try to interchange the location of the product list and the order and the numpad. By doing the same thing, inspect the elements and notice that we have two classes, which is left pane and right pane, with the parent class is screen full width, having display as flex. So we can easily swap this using order style. Let's copy the classes of left pane, paste, and let's do the same with the right pane. Copy and paste. Then we can swap the order. Right pane order will be 1 and left pane as order will be 2. Let's reload the page and it's working fine. But I don't recommend this layout. I just want to show you how you can manipulate the look and feel of POS that you can try on your own project. Now let's move on in inheriting the POS component, and let's start by inheriting payment screen component. What you want to do is to inherit existing method, wherein when I click any payment method, I will add some functionality. And then we will add a new button at the right side with a new method that we will create. Let's start by creating a new folder, payment screen, and create a new file, paymentscreen.js. Let's declare that this is an Odoo module. Then we need to import registry, which is simply importing using the name of the module, which is point of sale.registries. Next, we need to import the component we want to inherit, which is the payment screen. Let's just duplicate this code and replace it with payment screen, which is the name of the component. Now, the way we extend this, if we go back to class registry module, we need to declare a new variable that holds a function with a parameter that returns a class that extends a class which is its own parameter itself. Confusing, right? It's because we are creating mixins here or multiple class inheritance. Using this code, we are able to extend a class multiple times, and not only that, we can add a new class based on the existing class using add by extending method. Let's just copy and paste this example, and since it's an arrow function, we can just name this parameter whatever we want, but for me, I want to name it payment screen. And you can add parentheses if you want. As usual, let's add setup method, and don't forget to add the super method. Let's add a simple console log, inherited payment screen. Finally, we can now extend it by accessing registries.component.extend method and add the original component as the first parameter. Then next will be the variable containing all the properties you want to inherit. Let's try if it's working fine. Let's reload the page and go to payment screen. Notice that we have the log note, inherited payment screen. Nice, but for now, we don't want this console log every time a component will be rendered. Let's go to POS component module and comment this console log under setup method. Now let's try to inherit existing method in payment screen component, and to know the method they used in these payment lines, let's open the payment screen template, which we can easily identify under XML folder, screen, payment screen, and then open payment screen.xml file. If we go to the browser, we have a string payment method. Let's find this string payment method, and there you go. As you can see, we have an onClick method, and it will trigger new payment line. So let's copy this trigger and find it in payment screen component. So we have a listener with a callback function, add new payment line. Let's find this to go to the actual method. Let's copy and paste this method and create a new constant variable which is equal to super and the name of the method, which must be exactly the same to the original method. So let's copy and paste it. Whatever the value it returns, it will be stored in this variable, and it depends if you want to change those values, then instead of const, you need to make it let. But in my case, I don't need to change anything, just a console log, inherited, add new payment line. And at the end, let's return the payment line. Now let's go back to the browser and reload the page. Go to payment screen, and if I will click any payment method, as you can see, the console log is working fine and we don't break any process. Then next, we will add a new button with a new method at the right and name it next. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is just an example, guys. Let's go back to PyCharm and let's create a new file, paymentscreen.xml. Let's copy the one we created in Chrome template and paste. Instead of Chrome, let's replace it with payment screen, which is the name of the template you want to inherit. And we need to target the div with class top content center. Let's copy it and replace PoS logo. We want to add a new button, which will be similar to the back button. So let's copy this code and paste. Then instead of back, let's make it next and move it above the icon. And the icon, instead of left, make it right. For the click event, let's add a new method, goNext, which we will create afterwards. Under payment screen inherit, let's create now a new method, goNext, which will just console log. You click next button from payment screen. Now let's go to the browser, reload, and then go to payment screen, and as you can see, we have a new button next. If you will click this button, we are now getting a console log, and that's it, guys. You can do the same thing to every component you want to inherit. Finally, let's do the last part wherein we will add the favorite products below the product list. Now this makes sense since sometimes we have products that are always purchased by customers, right? Let's start by creating a new folder, favorite products, and create a new file, favorite products.xml. I usually prepare first the design before doing the functionalities. So let's open product screen template, and we are interested on the right pane. And as you can see, we have the products widget here, and we want to add our favorite products below it. Let's copy the code from paymentscreen.xml, but instead of payment screen, replace it with product screen since that is the name of the template you want to inherit. You want to target the div class having a class of right pane. Let's copy and replace this class, and the position should be inside so that it will be added at the end inside this element. Let's add a div with a class favorite products container, and then another div with class favorite products. For now, let's just add a test, favorite products. Let's try if it works fine. Reload the page. And yeah, we can now see the changes. Let's add some style by creating a new file, favorite products.scss, and add these classes we defined. And for this class, let's add a background color, padding of 10 pixel, and a minimum height of 200 pixel. Let's start Odoo, reload the page, and I think that's fine for now. Then let's create a new file, favorite products.js, and let's just copy the code from payment screen because it's the same. But instead of payment screen, let's replace it with product screen and also the name of the parameter. Let's make the console log product screen inherited. Let's replace this to product screen and next product screen inherit. Let's try it. Reload the page. And as you can see, we have successfully inherited it. The first thing we need to do is to get a list of products. As I have said a while ago, all the product informations are already stored in DB module. Luckily, we can easily access under env object. If we console log this env.pos.db and reload the page, we are able to see all the list, for example, product by ID and product by category ID. In addition, if we open the prototypes, we are able to see all the methods we can call For example, is get product by category. If we go to the product screen template, the product lists are added inside this component, and if we open products widget template, the list of products has been fetched using products to display, which is a getter method, if we check it under products widget component. Notice that search product in category and get product by category has been called, which is available in the console log. Let's copy this code, and we can do the same by adding a new getter method and name it favorite products, and create a new variable products, which is equal to this method get product by category. And to know the different category ID, let's go back to the browser and check the console log under category by ID. Let's try category ID 2. Let's try the console log if we are getting some results. But before we try, we need to make sure this method will be called in our template by adding a div tscape equals favorite products. Let's try and reload the page. And yes, we are getting some records. Let's now copy the same template from the products widget template and replace this code, but instead of products to display, we need to add the new getter we created, which is favorite products. But make sure we will return these products. Let's reload. But we need to move this at the bottom of the product screen. So let's copy favorite product class and paste. Add display flex and flex wrap to wrap. Let's try and reload. Let's also add styles for each product. Add background and padding. Add flex shrink 1, flex grow 0, and flex basis 80 pixel. We can now try clicking these products, and it works the same on the main product list. Wow, amazing, right? Now we can add new POS category in the backend. Get the ID, and then start assigning products under inventory module. Open the product, and under sales tab, select the category favorites. Go back to the code and replace it with the favorites category ID. Let's go back and reload the page. And yes, the product is already showing at the bottom. But this might not be the best solution, right? First, we need to hardcode the category, and next, the new category will also show when we click Home button. The second solution is either we use other fields like the product tags or this favorite field, or you create a new boolean field. But in my case, I want to use the product tags, so I am going to create a new favorite tag and add more products and save. But using this method, there's no available method in the DB module. So we need to use the RPC service. But then again, RPC will return a promise, and it's not possible to use a sync await in getter function. In that case, we need to import onWillStart from all. Basically, we just need to use this to call an RPC service before rendering the component. This favorite underscore products is equal to an empty array, and then under onWillStart method, let's call an RPC method by adding a sync and arrow function. Create constant variable data is equal to await this.env.services.rpc. Let's pass an object parameter. The first one will be the name of the model, which is product.product. Next will be the name of the method. Luckily, there's already existing search method, so let's just use it. Next will be the keyword arguments, and in this part we will add a domain. We will add two domains here, which is available in POS is equal to true, and product tag IDs.name is equal to favorite. We then need to update these favorite products to this data. Let's console log RPC data, and reload the page. And yes, it's working fine. Let's make the other product as available in POS and reload the page. Alright. Now that we have the product IDs, we can easily filter the products already there in POS.tb module, which is product by ID. Let's now comment and duplicate this code, and instead of get product by category, we need to replace it by product by ID. Since this will list all the products, we need to declare a new variable favorites is equal to an empty array. Then based on the favorite products property earlier, we need to call for each method, wherein each ID, let's find this product in all products and push it to favorites list. Using this code, we created a new product list which are only favorites. Instead of products, let's return favorites. Let's try and reload the page. Nice, it's working fine. But sometimes we want to create our own custom code in retrieving record, right? So instead of using the default search method, let's create our own custom method. Under models folder, let's create a new file and name it product.py. Let's import models from Odoo and create a new class product. Let's inherit product.product model and then create a new method, getFavoriteProducts. Let's declare products variable and call self.search method, and let's add to domain by just copying the same domain, but we need to replace bracket with parentheses and make this as capital letter. Then let's return products.ids because we only need the IDs. Before we restart, let's make sure we added it in the init file. Restart the server, and going back to the component, let's duplicate and comment the previous code. Then instead of search, replace it with a new method we created, which is getFavoriteProducts. Let's remove keyword arguments and add positional arguments, which will be an empty object since we didn't add any parameter in our controller. Let's try, reload the page, and notice that we are getting the same report. But we're not yet done, because what if you host POS online, right? It should still work even if internet is disconnected. If we open the network tab and clear the lags, notice that our method always calls to the server to get the data. There are options here like we store it in the local storage. If we console log this.env.services, we can use cookies or local storage to store this information. The second option will be inheriting POS model. Remember, under registries, we have also model object, and under models module, if we scroll at the bottom, it's returning different models. Our target is to inherit POS global state so that we can easily access it using this.env.pos object. To inherit it, it's actually the same in component inheritance. Let's first create a new file under POS folder and name it POS global state.js. Copy the code from favorite products and paste, but we need to replace product screen with models. And since models is returning a list of models, we need to import only POS global state. Then rename this variable to POS global state inherit and rename the parameter as models. Then instead of setup, we need to replace it with constructor since this class doesn't have a setup method. Let's console log inherited POS global state. Then under registries, let's replace the parameters with the ones we created, and instead of component, make it model. Let's try and reload. And as you can see, we just inherited POS global state. Now, we can just create a new variable, favorite products, which is equal to a function this.getFavoriteProducts. This function then will call RPC service, so we need to add a sync await. Go back to favorite products and copy the same code and return the data. Then under product screen, we can now comment this code and replace it with await this.env.pos.favorite products. Let's try and reload the page. Notice that we now only have one API call even if we go to other screens. That's all guys. I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and see you on my next tutorial.